But before Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury, WNBA tickets were averaging $89. The moment she went down, price crashed nearly 30%, plummeting to $62 a seat. That's kind of crazy. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but obviously the biggest reason is
the WNBA is facing what can only be described as a severe ratings and financial collapse. What was supposed to be a breakout moment for the league has instead spiraled into a crisis, with momentum evaporating almost as quickly as it arrived.
WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not want people to know that Caitlin Clark was going to be out for the season. I can tell you, from the very day that they decided to let that go public, everything has dropped off a cliff. Views on this channel, the television ratings, the interest, Thanos snapped out of existence. People were trying to hang on to the possibility this whole time. Look, so many people stayed engaged with the team because they thought the cavalry was coming.
The catalyst for the league's current meltdown isn't a single injury report or roster announcement. It's the growing fear of what the WNBA looks like without Caitlin Clark on the court. The mere possibility of her absence has exposed an uncomfortable truth. The league has become so dependent on one superstar that even whispers about her availability send shockwaves through ratings, attendance, and national interest. Without Clark, the WNBA risks being seen not as a rising powerhouse, but as a fragile product struggling to prove it can stand on its own.
July. The WNBA proudly flaunted ratings for the All-Star Game, which drew 2.2 million viewers. Of course, they conveniently failed to mention that ratings were down 36% from the record ratings that Caitlin Clark pulled the year before. Early August, ESPN pointed out that the Seattle Spankers and the Indiana Felines, without Caitlin Clark, drew 1.6 million on ABC. ESPN claimed that WNBA ratings were up 20% over last year, mostly without Caitlin Clark playing. But over the last 3 or 4 weeks, both the WNBA and the media have been strangely silent. I wonder...
The numbers emerging in the immediate aftermath of Clark's season-ending announcement fears are nothing short of catastrophic for the league's bottom line. Even the rumor of her absence triggered a market reaction the WNBA hoped they'd never see. Ticket platforms reported an overnight freefall in demand, with some playoff listings dropping 30% or more as buyers pulled out and resale markets corrected at lightning speed. Games that once commanded over $200 suddenly struggled to move tickets priced under $30. It was the clearest signal yet. Without Caitlin Clark in the picture, the economic engine powering the league's current boom sputters instantly.
The WNBA are currently treading dangerous waters. It's sharks out there, y'all. It is sharks out there in the deep ends of that water. Reality is hitting, and the playoffs have the potential to expose even more. Ratings could potentially crash in this year's WNBA playoffs without Caitlin Clark. Networks have their eyes peeled to what is going on, and ticket prices plummeted 30% while Caitlin Clark was out with her.
The Indiana Fever, the team that spent the entire season driving premium ticket sales everywhere they went, saw the impact instantly. The moment Clark went down, road game prices didn't just dip, they collapsed, falling by more than half in some markets. Seats that had averaged around $137 were suddenly hovering near $80, a free fall that made one thing unmistakably clear: the league's entire economic momentum is tied to a single player.
He's only on one team, but a very big chunk of the total attendance in WNBA is from the Indiana Fever. They have the second highest home attendance, and teams are literally moving arenas. So yeah, a lot of teams, whether it be the Lynx opening the Upper Bowl, whether it be the Wings, the Dream, the Sky, all of these teams moving games. All of these teams are moving games for the Indiana Fever, regardless of who it is. They all have to sell those seats. And a lot of people don't want to go, and it's super cheap. Like, it's a lot easier to fill a 10,000 seat arena without Caitlin Clark than to fill 20,000. So you're going to have to find a way to do it anyway, which is what a lot of people are going to be doing, trying to sell tickets.
The 2025 WNBA season was supposed to be the league's breakthrough moment, record crowds, surging interest, and the kind of national buzz the league had spent decades chasing. Instead, Clark's early season injuries exposed just how much of that momentum depended on one superstar. After playing only 13 games, the player who had become the league's main attraction was suddenly gone, and the excitement that once felt unstoppable began to fade fast. Whatever progress the league made now looks far more fragile than anyone expected, and the sudden dip in interest shows just how heavy a load Clark had been carrying.